Hi folks, I'm Mike and I hope you're well. It's day 8 of my 20-day challenge to write, record, mix, master and release a song by Black Friday. Now on Black Friday, the 29th of November, I'll be releasing a video to tell you about some great deals on gear and plugins, etc. And the catch is I also have to use that gear and those plugins in this song, so there's a further constraint. Now, I think it's been 5 days now since my last confession, and I have to tell you, I have been working through the pain. However, a couple of important pieces of the jigsaw have fallen into place, which I'm pleased about. So, well, let me just tell you what's been going on. If we go back 5 days ago, I think I had like 8 lines of the lyrics, or 2 verses of the lyrics, and pretty much a good idea of the music. Now, unusually for me, I really don't normally do this, I went ahead and started to record guide tracks for the whole song, thinking that I kind of had a rough idea about what the emotional content of the lyrics was likely to be, so I could sort of write with the correct sort of dynamics and things for the music. So I went ahead and did that. I had my 4 lines, but at some point I had to write the rest of the lyrics, because Susie's going to be singing this, so I needed Susie to be learning that as well. So I decided, I think this was on Thursday or Friday, I can't remember. I decided that the way to tackle this, to get all of these lyrics, was to try not to do it. So I had a great day, actually. It's a really sunny day. I got out and about. I was doing chores around the house. I was getting, lunch out and what have you. And it happened. I had to rush home, sat on the sofa, and all of the rest of the lyrics came out in one kind of flood. It took maybe 20 to 30 minutes and I had a pretty decent idea of the melody that was going to be there as well. A rough idea anyway. So big tick, because, Susie can't sing the lyrics if there's no lyrics. So that was really cool. And then the next thing that we did, I had to wait for her to be available. So the next thing that we did, and this was yesterday, in fact, was we got in the studio, and what I decided is that she was going to have like a recording of her singing this, a rough recording, a guide track, if you like, of her singing this, so she can go away, put it on repeat on her phone, and then in a few days' time, she can come back and sing it. And the reason I'm doing that, by the way, is because it's kind of hard to fully get emotional about a song when you're singing it if you're still thinking about the lyrics and the melody and what have you. So last night we painstakingly went through verse by verse. Now, I've got to tell you that this is, I'm describing it as a painful process, but it's really joyful in a strange way, because what happens at this point is we're working through this melody and we're trying to squeeze every ounce of goodness out of this that we can. So Susie will be going, "Are you sure about that lyric?" And I go, "Yeah, let's just tighten that up a bit. Let's just change that, And then probably more importantly, with the melody, we're sort of thinking, is the melody at that point kind of reflecting the emotional content of the lyrics and this kind of thing? So we're really going through it with a fine-tooth comb, really, because we don't want to record something which isn't going to represent the final sort of melody, etc. And we don't want her to get that in her head and become too familiar with it if it's not what we're going to keep. Now, I think we still will make some small changes, but the idea is she should now go away, which we did that last night. It's brilliant. And she can go away, and I've given her like 4 days. 4 days, just listen to it on repeat and learn the heck out of it. And I believe that we've come up with a really... I really like what we've got. I think it's interesting. And look, I create mainstream music. I don't do avant-garde or anything like that. I don't think it's anything weird. But I still don't want things to be too predictable, right? I'm still looking for that melody that maybe goes in a slightly unexpected place, or that lyric that goes in a slightly unexpected direction, just to keep you interested. Anyway, now that is done, the approach that I will take now over the next few days for my part is to now go through I've got to re-record some of the guide tracks. Mostly that's guitars, so acoustic and quite a few electric guitar parts. I'll be making some adjustments to the arrangement because now we've got the vocal guide track in there. Then I can really feel a bit better how the arrangement fits around the vocals. Are there gaps that I need to fill with little things going on the instrument just to keep the ear candy going throughout the song? But most of this is going to be fine adjustments to what I've already got. And then we'll come back in, she can record her vocal. Then once that's done, lots of backing vocals as well to go with that. So yeah, it's going to take a few more days before we can really say we've recorded everything. Probably 4 to 5 days, I'm going to say, before we say recording is done. But I'm going to say at this point, tick, writing is done. Not too bad, actually. It's a big part of it. And just by the way, I know you guys already know this, the arrangement is super important to me. I feel like if you get the arrangement right, then, and I'm talking about the arrangement in the context of which instruments are playing when, then I feel like the mix is much, much easier. It does half of the job for you. You're not trying to sort of always create impact with just by pushing up faders or using compression. You're doing it organically by adding in more lines or whatever it is you're doing at the time. So that's where we're at. By the way, me and Suze had a little conversation about this last night because, you know, everyone talks about AI all the time, including me. And it just really made us reflect that it was hard work. It was really hard work to work through line by line, note by note, and think about what do we want here? What do we want here? What do we want to convey emotionally here? What kind of, as I say, I'm going to use this again, what kind of ear candy do we want to give the listener here? And of course, you know, people do say, why don't you just use AI? It's great. You know, Suno's going to produce the whole song for you. And you know, all the power to you if that's what you want to do. You know, I don't want to pee on your bonfire. But for me, honestly, we were saying how much fun it is ultimately for us to sit there for a few hours and kind of agonize over it and, dare I say, craft it. And just feel that it's ours, that it's really, truly ours. Now, of course, we're a bit like AI. We're always influenced by everything we've heard before. But I don't think we make the same decisions as AI when we decide to, you know, use this lyric or that. It's a different thing. And the other aspect of that for me is like, okay, if I had used AI to write some of those verses for me, or the melody for me, or what have you. Now, 6 months down the line, someone says to me, hey, Mike, I love the lyric in that third verse. That's the bit that got me. If I know that part was written by AI, honestly, I would just feel that, I would feel pretty kind of empty inside about it, you know. If people hate what I do, then fair enough, you know, I could be responsible for that. But you know what? If they love what I do, then it's nice for me to feel 100% that was my effort. And again, if some of you are using AI, fine, I'm not trying to criticize you at all. Do what you want to do. But for me, the joy of it is the agonizing process of working through. And that's the part that AI removes, the bit I like. So anyway, we had great fun with that. Now, that was the first piece of the jigsaw, which was really, really important. Not much of a song without lyrics. And the other thing is I needed to make sure I had all the equipment that I was going to use in there. So I did receive one box last week I told you about, and the other half of that came on Friday. So I've got it here. Oh, gosh, a bit heavy. As you can see, well, you probably can't see. I'm just looking at the screen here. Project Santa Monica. This is the box from Carly. So these are the monitors that I'm going to be using for the mixing, and I'm very glad they're here because although I will use some sort of room correction after I've put them up, for me, honestly, that's a smaller part of the story of using monitors. Then the bigger part is really having them in your room and not just mixing on them, but listening to music that you love and you're familiar with through them. Now, it's not an ideal amount of time. I've got, what, a little less than 2 weeks to go, and I'll probably be doing the mix, I'm going to guess, in about 10 days' time. So ideally I'd like longer, but what I'm going to do is set these up after I've finished making, not this video, but another video I'm making, set these up and just listen to them a lot. So there's going to be a lot of music playing in this studio the next few days, just to really get used to them. And interestingly, these are 5-inch speakers. I usually use 8-inch speakers, so quite a big change there. But they are, however, I'm told, incredibly high quality speakers. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. But that's the final part of the puzzle. I've got all the gear, I've got all the plugins that I'll be using. In fact, I think I've used all of the plugins before anyway. No, there's nothing completely new to me for this project, which is nice. But these are different, and the microphones we're using are different, and a few other bits of gear that we're using are a little bit different. So that's the final part of the puzzle that really needs to be put into place. And now the hard work of really sort of finishing this off with a bit of a race against time, because remember, not only do I have to do the song part of this, I have to make the video as well, which is going to be a good solid 3 days. I'm talking good like 18-hour days to make a video like that. So wish me luck. I'll try and give you an update soon, soonish, maybe in a couple of days' time, because I find this very hard. I don't know how people do these daily vlog type things. Oh, sorry, it's not for me. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate all of your comments and your encouragement, by the way. Keep them coming in the comments down below. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.